The drug war needs to be stopped because it's killing people. Now, I hope we can all agree that the point of the drug war is to save lives. I mean, that's the intention behind the whole thing, right? So, if the drug war is killing more people than it saves, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and we should just turn it off. The first problem is that the drug war caused this fentanyl overdose crisis. You see, the users just want heroin, which is a much safer opioid than fentanyl. The reason that fentanyl has appeared is an adaptation to the drug war. Fentanyl provides a significant trafficking advantage because the doses are 50 times smaller than heroin. You can fit 1 million doses of fentanyl into a space the size of a shoebox. And so for the trafficker, that's a huge safety advantage. So just to recap here, it is the pressure from the drug war that has caused the traffickers and dealers to convert from selling heroin to selling fentanyl. If the drug war didn't exist, that wouldn't have happened. It's important to remember that in the 30 or 40 years since the drug war has been in full effect, there have always been drugs. It has never reduced the supply or availability of drugs in any meaningful way. And in fact, it's only getting easier to get drugs. And that brings us to our next point. Currently, there are 2 ways to get drugs. One way is that you can go to your local dealer, and the other way is that you can buy it straight from the internet. I think it's a better idea to have people buying drugs from the dealers, because this represents a layer of control that we could operate over if we wanted to, but not under drug war conditions. Under drug war conditions, where we don't want to put any control over the dealers, a dealer might sell you the most dangerous drug when some safer drug might be more what you're looking for. A dealer might sell you very poor quality drugs. And a dealer might sell you drugs when you're already inebriated on something else. Now, imagine if we were to regulate the dealers. If we were to give them licenses and conditions and professional standards that they had to meet. All of that could be changed. And that would be a much preferable situation than having people simply buy the drugs on the internet, which is the direction that things are going. Basically, the dealers represent a layer of control that we could operate over if we wanted to. The third way that the drug war is actually killing people is that it's removed any potential for putting standards and concentrations and instructions onto the recreational drugs. Now, if we think it's so important to have labels and instructions and standards for something like a bottle of aspirin, how much more important is it to have standards and labels and warnings and instructions for a drug like ecstasy or cocaine or, God forbid, heroin? You see, all of these things just get more dangerous when we have a drug war. And it's because the idea of a drug war is not intelligent. It's like this. You know, sometimes a workstation, a computer, might be putting up some sort of problem. And so our monkey primal brain might have a tendency to want to just hit the computer. But that's not going to work, is it? It might feel good. It might instinctively feel like the right thing to do, but it's just not an intelligent solution to the type of problem that we're dealing with. And that is true of the health problem that is the dangers associated with drug use. Currently, we've got our heads stuck in the sand about drugs. We're sort of pretending that our actions are making it harder for people to get drugs, when in fact all we're doing is just making taking drugs more dangerous, which is increasing the deaths, which is the opposite of what we want to do. I think we can all agree that if a drug was as safe as caffeine, this isn't a moral issue. We wouldn't ban it simply because it was fun. That our concern about drugs is that they're dangerous. And so our goal is to reduce the dangers associated with drug use and reduce the number of deaths associated with drug use. It doesn't really matter what our intentions are, if the end product of our actions ends up skyrocketing the deaths in the way that it has, it's time to stop doing what we're doing.